Hey guys, Dr. Devynne here with Jing Shen Healing Arts and Middle Path CrossFit. This is an intro video for another video that this is going to kick to here in a minute. I mentioned on a previous episode that we were shifting gears within our gym going into the fall and winter season with some journaling and with some different practices to help our members settle. And one of the things that I mentioned in that video was not only why we're doing it and what we're hoping our members get out of it, but that I also wanted to share the conversations that we're having with our members, with the general public. And the video that you're going to listen to next is me talking to our members as we round out week 2 of this transition in our gym space. It is me talking directly to them. It is a video that they are receiving as a general gym check-in, but I also wanted to share it here in case it resonates and anybody wants to join us on this journey and slow down going into the fall and winter season. You could be an athlete living somewhere else, or a coach or an affiliate owner. You could also just be somebody who stumbled upon our podcast and is wondering what it is that we're talking about. But this practice for us over the last couple weeks has been a really beautiful merge of, I feel like, our work as doctors of acupuncture and Chinese medicine and gym community. It's been a cool integration that I think, for myself at least, it feels like it's holding space for the big parts of both worlds that we personally live in. And it's been a really neat thing to present, not only present to our members, but also watch them navigate. And so they've obviously had more heads up that this was coming and knew that this was something we were going to be integrating into our space. But we are a couple weeks in now, and I wanted an opportunity to share with them more of why we're doing what we're doing and acknowledge the potential challenge that this has been, as well as bring it back home to what the themes have been over the last couple weeks, so that if there is someone who wants to continue diving into those themes, that they know where they can go and obviously check in with us and all that good stuff. As you get ready for the videos to switch over and transition, if you're someone listening to this and you want to hop on board, our clinic, Jing Shen Healing Arts, has an academy site that has a community group that gets you access to different conversations that Dr. James and I are having both within the clinic, but we are sharing just some free classes and courses and content in this community group. But within that, we have a space set up for dropping the questions and getting to continue to conversate through this work. So if you want to, connect with some other people or just get in the know of some other things that we're doing with this work, that academy site is a great place to connect with us with. And everything's online, so you don't have to be local. And I'll have all the information for that in the description of this video below. But for now, enjoy our first release of the conversation and invitation to our athletes. Hey guys, we are wrapping up another week and close to wrapping up another month. I just wanted to, it's been a few weeks since I've shared a video with you guys. We've been doing a lot of the catch up in person. I've been seeing most of you at the gym. And so this hasn't really felt needed. And in the spirit of that, this video is intended to be more of a check-in with you guys and more of a permission to reach out to me depending on how you're feeling, how things are going, all that good stuff. I just wanted to throw the invite out there, open up that door, and encourage you guys to reach out to either myself, could be James, could be Myra. Just touch base with a coach if you need anything. But we are wrapping up our second week of the integration of some journaling and some writing into class. It's been really cool to see you guys pick that up and run with it. I know it's been a little different every day, a few longer time domains, a few short ones, but it's been a really cool merging of worlds for us to be able to pull our work that we do outside of the gym into the gym space and create opportunities for you guys to lean into that work for yourselves. We've certainly got much bigger conversations coming to you and more information about a couple things we're going to put on the schedule. But ultimately, what I wanted this video to be is an acknowledgement of getting through a couple weeks of this and an acknowledgement of the potential challenge that this has been, depending on what's going on in your worlds. I don't take for granted that you guys are here to show up and move your bodies and get healthier. And we've always talked about this being bigger than just fitness, right? Being able to integrate something as simple as a question of the day and a little bit of writing time probably seems a little misplaced in the gym setting, but it is super important for the holistic viewpoint that we're working to create within the gym setting. And so yes, we want you in there moving your bodies, getting healthier, getting stronger, getting more mobile, and taking care of ourselves and yourselves physically. But the mental health side is also so important. And this has been a really interesting way for us to integrate that aspect. And it's happening at a time of year when things are starting to slow down a little bit, hopefully. I know that's not the case for everyone, but it is fall. We are officially in fall. And you guys have probably noticed the weather getting cooler and staying cooler. The leaves are starting to change. And there's this exhale that kind of happens on the other side of summer. And as we shift gears and integrate and transition inwards. Everybody has different processes with that. I know from speaking with some of my patients, one of the questions we ask every year around this time is, how are the winters for you? Especially my new patients, if I haven't gone through a winter season with them yet. And winter can be a very challenging time for some. It can be a very beautiful time for others. And you guys are all going to have different experiences with that. And that is what makes all of this, again, to use the word interesting, but it may, yeah, it's going to sit differently with each and every one of you. And that is true for the seasons. That is true for this writing practice. That is true for showing up to the gym and leaning into that work. And so it is so personal. I think one of the things that I've always loved about journaling is it gives me an opportunity to have a conversation with myself. Yes, we are presenting you with questions and invitations to lean into different areas of your heart space, of your head space, and just check in and see what resonates and what doesn't. But if we can continue to find that stillness and listen, even for just a moment, there's probably a little bit of a voice back that is guiding you and leading you, or maybe it's resisting you in some ways. And that is part of what this time is for, is not necessarily to give it the space to run wild, but for you to have an opportunity to acknowledge that it even exists. And sometimes that can be really great, and sometimes that can be really challenging. And it's, like I said, it's been a really cool integration into class, being able to start with a little bit of breath work and just arriving. And then whether we pick up the pen or we don't, we're giving ourselves a moment to just pause. And as someone who finds themselves often very busy, it can be hard to take the time. Again, everyone's different in that. Maybe it feels unproductive, or it's like I could be doing something else, or perhaps we use our busyness to distract us from other things that kind of come up and come forward. Or there's just, man, I have so much to do. I don't have time to sit and be still because I could be out accomplishing something. But this season that is in front of us, these next couple seasons that are in front of us, are inviting us to find our place of stillness and to turn inward and not get lost in all of the outward and the busy and the doing and all of the things. This is an opportunity for us to reflect, and take inventory of what we're doing, our thought patterns, our ideas, our projects, the things we want to accomplish, the people in our lives who we're choosing to share time with, all of those things. And do they provide value to our life? Are they moving us in the direction of what we want our life to be? I'm going to circle back around to that one in a moment. But or are they pulling us in different directions? Are they the thing that is holding us back from being able to step forward? And it doesn't always have to be mental, emotional things. It can be physical stuff, right? We get a lot of people this time of year that also have that one room in their house that they need to clean out, but they won't touch it because I have no idea where to start and I'm overwhelmed and I just have a hard time letting go of things. And if that's you, it might be something physical like that. It may be, this is just how I've always done things, and I don't know how to do different or be different. So there's a lot of different areas and a lot of different angles of all of this. And we're going to continue to present some of these ideas and thought patterns for you to sit with. Part of what I want these video check ins to be, this is not really a gym check in. This is a, hey, coach is checking in on you and also acknowledging the work that you're putting in. But also, if you're someone who's enjoying this practice and you're like, man, like the 5 minutes a few times a week, or, the days that you're here and you're wanting more, this is also an opportunity for you to hear this in a space where you're at home or you're driving in your car or whatever that is, and you get to take in this information in a different way at a different time when you're not at the gym about to do a workout, right? And if you're enjoying these practices, I'm going to encourage you to keep leaning into them. Many of you are in our Jing Shen Academy platform in the Strength and Stillness group. This week, actually, we've started dropping those writing themes into that place. So anyone who's in that group, whether gym member, patient, community member, whatever, is wanting to pick up this practice this time of year and dive deeper into it, all of that is going to live on the platform. So if you're like, man, like, I know we had a question. What did we talk about? What was the intention of the week? All of that is going to live online. And so there's an easy way for you to continue this for yourself when you do feel like you have more time and space. And if you want to do some additional writing at home with your own notebook or journal setup, whatever that may be, there's plenty of opportunities to do this work. But this season is the time of year that sets us up for a successful spring next year and allows us to run wild and crazy again in the summer. And so if you are somebody who's very goal driven and task oriented, the invitation, the thing to put on your to do list this fall and winter is to rest more and is to just take pause, right? We don't have to completely halt and stop and revolutionize our lives. There are active ways of resting, there are active ways of us taking care of ourselves. But if we skip this step, this is the thing that snowballs and makes it even more challenging to do all the things that we want to do. The other thing that I wanted this video to be today is a kind of macro overview of the theme that we've thrown out there the last couple weeks, because yeah, we're going to continue to build off of this. We went pretty heavy and dove right in on week 1. We come up for air a little bit this week, and just again checking the box and getting in the rhythm of doing this practice. But some of these questions are very big, and we need to hear them more than once, more than twice. Some of you may have been presented this question for the very first time last week. Some of you may have heard it before and brushed it off and yeah, I'll think about that later. But this is the point of all of it, right? And all of it, I'm not the gym, not the writing practice. This is life. And so I want to toss that theme out there again for you. Again, for the reason of let's hear it in a setting that is not right before we get ready to pick up a barbell and get our heart rates jacked, right? And so lean into this, spend some time thinking about it. If you really dove in last week, what you'll find as you continue to explore this question is it will evolve for you. This is one that was not really in this way. We'll get there, but was presented to us in a similar style format as we dove into acupuncture school. And a lot of that is what brings you joy and what do you want your life to look like. I think in the gym, I wanted it to feel a little more actionary than that before we just threw you into the depths with that question. But ultimately, that's what we are trying to answer. And so last week we talked about what's the one thing that we're not currently doing that if we would do it would have the greatest impact on the life we want to have for ourselves. And that requires us to be able to answer the question of what do we want our lives to look like? What are you working towards? Those of you that are working, right, and you have careers or businesses and jobs, is it fulfilling? Do you enjoy it? Does it fill the role you need it to fill for yourself in your life? And that may be the satisfaction of the work. It may purely just be income. And the follow-up to that is, are there other things that you could see yourself doing or you would want to do if you could? And that's one aspect of your life. We look at that through another lens of the people that are in our lives, and that's not just our close relationships, but also friendships. Does the circle around you feel like it's in alignment with who you are and how you want to show up in the world? And these are really big questions. I get that. And we're not trying to implode our lives overnight, but we have to drop the pebble in the pond to see what will ripple and where it leads us. And then once we have the answers, once we're honest with ourselves about what those answers are, then what we have in front of us is an opportunity to choose differently or to make peace with the choices that we are making. And this is a much bigger conversation that will continue to unfold and we'll loop into some other things we're going to be bringing you guys this fall. But what are the things that we put off? Are there things that we don't do because we feel like we don't have the time, we don't have the resources, we're just exhausted by the end of the week and don't have the energy to do it? And I would say that if there are things that are on that list that matter to you, if they matter, let's find a way to integrate them. And it may not be quickly. Takes time and it's work and it's part of why it's called a practice. But every time you pick up the pen and write down the truth that is living within you, whether it makes sense or it doesn't, you're giving it space to grow. You're planting the seed so that we can nurture it and water it and hopefully grow it into something. That was last week's theme, right? What do we want our lives to look like essentially? And what's one thing that we know we're not doing that would move us closer towards that vision we have for ourselves? That is the thing that most people are going to find themselves at different stages of. And then towards the end of the week, we asked into what those barriers are, right? What are the things that are standing in the way from us doing that one thing? And that could be time. It could be location. Maybe you have something that you want and it's not accessible here in the valley or it's not accessible in Kalispell, or maybe you're like, "Man, if I really could do anything, I would take the trip," and I just don't have the time or the resources to do that thing. There's just so many different aspects of that, and it's gonna be unique and individual to each of you. But I would say giving yourself permission to write it down, even if it sounds crazy, it doesn't mean that it's an action plan, but it is a personal acknowledgement of things that live in your heart. And probably the head probably gets involved to some degree and talks you in or out of, and we'll get to those conversations too. But just write it down, no matter how crazy it sounds, what you want. Another thing that I tell my patients all the time is give yourself permission to change your mind. Just because you wanted something 20 years ago, you don't have to keep following through on it now just because you told yourself you wanted this thing. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to want different. You're allowed to lean into things that don't make sense to anybody else. And so that's really what this practice is about. And I know this was also probably a bigger conversation than we're planning on getting into. They're big topics, and this is where Dr. James and I thrive when it comes to the Chinese medicine hats that we wear. And for us, the gym and the clinic are not separate entities. They are what we love sharing and what we love challenging with people who come across our paths. And it's been fun to find a way to bring that into conversation. And we don't get to full send into these conversations in the gym, but they are, I think what I wanted to come through in this is where our heart space is coming from with this. It's not just a 365-day calendar question of the day that we're pulling out and throwing to you guys to make you do this thing. Most of you have been around for a long while and know that everything we do is intentional, including this practice. As you continue to explore, as you continue to show up for class, if things come up for you or you have questions or comments or any of that, feel free to pull one of us aside and chat with us. And if you don't mind other people seeing it, utilize the Academy site. That is intended to, it's not just for you guys as gym members, but it's intended to be a page built for people of the community to connect and share in this process and share in this journey. And we'll get to see where it leads. But you guys are doing great. Keep showing up, keep challenging yourselves. I think I mentioned at the beginning of this this may be the hard thing. It may not be the burpees and it may not be the squats. And as we continue to dive deeper into our slower, quieter seasons, this may be the hard thing. And it's okay that it's hard. It's okay that it challenges you, just like the other things that we do in the gym. So reach out to me if you need anything. Reach out to Dr. James, chat with Myra, right? Just connect with a coach and we can walk you through anything that's coming up. And yeah, looking forward to continuing this practice with you guys.